All right, in a fun 2v2, Indie Pride and I square off against Dov Plays and Black Iron Battles. A lot of you guys have asked for some Tomb Kings. God, look at that creature. So 2 kings you shall receive. So Indie Pride and I have a conjoined army here of Tomb Kings. He went with the Mighty Khalida. I went with the new Ark in the Black. Remember guys, Ark in the Black's Archon Blade has been changed. It no longer heals him in an aura around him. Instead, it will now summon a unit of skeletons. So a little bit of a tweak on that. So you can see our army here is a little bit wider. We went with definitely a wider army against the might of Norsca. Now this makes a lot of sense here, as you know, this is what's coming back in the new patch, so why not go with a really cool, fun Norsca build, and a lore and thematic, God, look at that thing, a lore and thematic build. We do know that Cetra himself ravaged up to Norsca after Norsca went down to KHEMRI and stole Cetra's crown. So we know that he went up there to kick some ass. So we did not choose Cetra because we wanted to be a little bit more competitive here, but we went with 2 really great lords. Now let's take a look at our armies. Now you can see we kind of mismatched here. We ran out of time, so I apologize about that. But I went with a really strong line of Tomb Guard. We have 2 units of just normal, 2 units with halberds, and we've got 2 units of Nehekarian warriors, then 2 units of spearmen on mine, and then 2 of just the standard Ushabti with great bows, 1 unit of Necropolis Knights with halberds to fight off any flanking wolves or anything of the sort, as well as 2 units of Nehekarian horsemen. Indie Pride, on the other hand, went with a little bit smaller of a line, but that's because he has the mighty, there we go, look at that badass, the Sphinx of Usekf. It's going to be able to deal the hurt, the anti-large bonus to this bad boy, that AP, that magic damage, that fire damage especially. These are 2 armies that really suffer from burning damage, really kicking their ass. So it's really going to be fun to see how this plays out. So that's going to be able to really take apart mammoths as well as our Ushabti with great bows. And he went with a nice Lich Priest with light to help net things down. A nice wide army with some Tomb Guard as well. Then some nice Kepra Guard as well as some other Tomb Guard. Then some more Spearmen, and then a unit of Tomb Guard with halberds. But let's get this guy going on the road to Normalsville, normal speed. But you can see too, I guess it's important to talk about their army. They went with an interesting flanking maneuver with 2 Norscan ice trolls on both flanks, trying to come in and kind of get a little bit of pincer attack in here. But the common build we've seen a lot lately is, oh, here they are, Marauder Berserkers in conjunction with Famir with great weapons, or Famir in general. So we're going to see that stack up. They do have a Famir Bale Fiend with fire that's going to help give them a little edge as well with some fire, as well as a Shaman Sorcerer with fire on a chariot, the lovely Throg. And I mean, we can't forget about this. I mean, how could you, how dare I even not mention it? Look at that. That War Mammoth War Shrine is so cool. Then we have Mighty WULFRIK as well. I love WULFRIK's unflinching face, I shan't move. This is my giant beast. My giant extinct woolly mammoth. Unflinching. It's almost like he's scared to move, that he might fall off if he does. But across the whole line, we're dealing with a whole horde of marauders, a nice contingency of marauder hunters here. That's going to help knock out any of our constructs, and then some nice little beasts of Tashnar there. Let's see how this plays out. Indie Pride getting a little forward here, trying to get some early shots in on WULFRIK ASAP. I follow suit. The big thing is knocking out that leadership ASAP. That's still really the big thing when it comes to Norsca, is trying to put down that leadership as fast as possible. And you'll notice here that, let me pause this really quick and scroll up all the way. If this, yeah, well, you know what, screw it, there we go. You'll see that this is staggered. Now, the reason we staggered this is, and this is a really good point out from Indy, he was saying, dude, stagger your army, because if you have 1 Wind of Death or 1 Flaming Skull, it's going to rip through the whole entire thing. I've staggered it a little bit. I could have even staggered it more, but this staggered of my front line still enables my flank to be secure. It still enables me to actually choose the charge of my Tomb Guard with halberds, and able to muck up any charge lanes with these guys as well. So staggering your front line is a pretty good tactic that I will now use more often. Those ice trolls kind of getting over here, a little action into our Nehekarian warriors. I miss that Tomb King, just huzzah! Because The Mummy is one of my favorite movies. Man, the ice trolls getting in there, kicking kicking things about. Necropolis Knights getting in there to get the anti-large bonus in, the poison attacks as well. Ooh, Shem's Burning Gaze ripping through a little bit of Tomb Guard, but also hitting into those War Mammoths. Uh-oh. Got a little Famir charge action coming in here. And the Famir, it's really great to see them in the fight here as well, too. I miss the Famir in a lot of ways. Look at that big Wampa Stompa. Oh! Poof. It just, like, turns it to dust immediately. I really wish it did, though. It'd be cool. But already getting those shots on WULFRIK. WULFRIK is starting to really come down. Slowly at first there. And we also have the Shrine, the Sphinx of Usek in there as well, trying to deal some damage to those large creatures, hitting up those Norsca Ice Trolls. Now it's got a nice target with those. Oh, look at this action. Khalida knocking apart some Marauders. I've summoned some Skeleton Warriors in the back there. The Liber Mortis kicking off as well. We got a Flaming Skull that's about to rip through the entirety of my army, and Flaming Skull does so much damage to the Tomb Kings. You have to be really careful here. And I don't know if this is Dov or if this is Black Iron Battles, but they got 2, if not 3, really good Flaming Skulls off this entire fight. Like, I mean, this was used to masterful execution. Remember how I said you want to stagger your line? Well, this is what happens when you don't. This is where it landed, and you can see just burned a trove through those Tomb Guard. And it's just ripping through. These Tomb Guards are going to get hit really hard with it. You can see their health getting knocked down really heavy. Tried to escape with these guys. Just barely got them out of the way. But still did a significant amount of damage. It is worth noting that that does do a lot of damage to Norsca as well. So the damage is exchanged mutually. But WULFRIK is still getting beat on by our Ushabti Great Bows. And he's taking a considerable amount of damage. My Necropolis Knights kind of got caught out charging those trolls. Man, this guy went all the way over to these spearmen almost. That was quite the trail of doom. You can kind of survey the battlefield here. You can see that getting some flanking action coming in from the Beasts of Tashnar. We've got our Nehekar and Horsemen to come intercept them. And WULFRIK is being just pounced upon right here. He's got damn near no health. He's fleeing. The woolly mammoth lord doth fall. Oh, that only counts as one! Which is a really good first target, because as we've said, guys, if anything, you need to really attack that leadership with Norsca. And I've actually used Doom and Darkness right here. So Doom and Darkness minus 16 leadership to try and cause some sort of route value train along with WULFRIK going down. I mean, you can see he's almost out of the fight there. But it's important to try and knock that out ASAP. Get a little summon of some Ushabti in the background from Realm of Souls. Our mighty WULFRIK has fallen, and it's now up to Indy to get the Sphinx of Usek out of there, because those Marauder Hunters with Javelins are going to really do some damage. And then Purple Sun of Xerius ripping through the back line here. I mean, this is a really, really good fight. Like, I mean, we were, like, the whole time, like, Indy and I were, like, just on edge, like, on the edge of our seats, because it was just so back and forth. Like, Vortex spells kicking off all over the place. That Pillar of Flame just didn't quite make connection, and I'm really glad about that. But this went going through their army and started ripping through mine, but that is the double-edged sword of the Purple Sun of Xerius. Caused quite a little bit of a disarray over there. Got a Norscan Ice Troll charge into these Tomb Guards, and then boom, like I was saying, you got another one of these things ripping through. And I mean, damn, man. Like, that's like 2 vortexes and 2 wind spells that have gone off in the past, what, 2 minutes? You have this one kind of coming around, starting to do a little more damage to my guys. But you get a really good idea of what's going on here. The War Shrine, you know, I unfortunately couldn't follow it, but it gets focused down by all of our archers really early and really fast, and it just gets put down hard. It flees so quickly. And then a rear charge from Ushabti Great Bows by some mere Great Warriors with Great Weapons, or these Premier Warriors with Great Weapons. That does have that anti-large, does have that AP, so it's going to knock these guys around, especially with that armor sundering. So it's going to put the Ushabti Great Bows in a world of hurt. But it's hard to really pinpoint what's going on here. I mean, it's kind of a constant ebb and flow throughout this entire fight. Shen's Burning Gaze kicking off all over the place. Throg has been surrounded. Sorry for the drop in FPS here. Ark and the Black jumping in there. You got the Ushabti Great Bows that are left. They're still shooting at him. He is fleeing off. He is broken and shattered now. I think he's just. I think I'm being. Yeah, he's just shattered. He's just calm down here. Got these Norsca Ice Trolls. They're kind of in bad shape, but you still have their casters, and those casters are very strong because they're fire, so they can do this. Boom! A third Screaming Skull ripping through really what is left of our foot soldiers. I mean, that was a huge chunk of our foot soldiers that was just knocked out right there. And really, those foot soldiers were all anti-large, which are going to help us combat these Khemri Great Warriors, or warriors with great weapons. We still have this Shaman Sorcerer alive as well. So you can see we're definitely in a world of hurt here. But so are they. A nice net to get those who shop to get some range to start shooting back into them. Unfortunately, there's this point that we forget that this is here for almost the rest of the fight. Maybe this is finally when we realize it's okay to come back. But a second waste of this pillar. Indy summons his Ushabti to come in here. The Brutes of the Hound are still at good health here, so that's kind of dangerous. Because they're going to be able to mulch up the majority of our units because they're no longer AP. He's got very few AP, or I'm sorry, heavily armored units left down here. But you can see we're kind of running a Yakety Sax-esque merry-go-round with all these large units here, trying to use the Sphinx of Usek to knock them apart as best we can, but they still have all these hunters with javelins, which are super scary. You know, that anti-large does a lot of damage. These ones don't have any ammo left, which is good, but the other ones still do have at least enough to do quite a bit of hurt. Knocked out one real easy there, though. Really brings us up a little bit. And really now it's going to be a war of attrition. Who can keep units in line while keeping their leadership intact? And at this point, Indy and I think we both thought, yeah, we got it. Look how much has just fled. But they still have these javelins, and it's still a pretty big scare. And they still have a linchpin with this guy's leadership, as well as the Bale Fiend, which I think is just now getting killed. Oh god, I love that thing. There's the Bale Fiend. So it's definitely in a precarious situation here, guys. Arkham the Black just trying to charge around to anything to try and get some sort of fear or terror. Well, it doesn't really cause terror, but any kind of fear charges he can. Anything to really knock apart any leadership. At this point, Winds of Magic is super low for both factions. It's hard to get a lot of really good casts off, so you're pretty much relying on cycle charging, leadership buckling, any kind of really opportunistic attacks you can get. Oh, there's that mass that's going to be needed. Polita coming in there, trying to save the mighty Sphinx of Usek. Arkin coming in as well. Arkin's attack animation makes him a little wild, and he gets caught up on things, so you got to be really careful when you engage him. Ooh, get that Shem's Burning Gaze off. Javelin starting to chuck into the Sphinx, though. But as you can see, this unit is now completely dealt with. All these little skeletons are dead, and you have what remains here fighting to the bitter end. Some beaten Tomb Guard. And this does not look good for Indy and I. You pretty much have Ark and Kalita and the Shrine and the Sphinx of Usek here. Look at those claws. Trudging about. Fliff. Fluff. Fliff. Fluff. Trying to knock out any of the bigger creatures we can and keep them gone. We don't want them to rally and come back at us. And for the most part, you can see we're just trying to micro away from them as best we can. Make some opportunistic charges here and there. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. But we do get lucky here with a charge onto this Shaman Sorcerer. Allows us to catch him out in the open and knock him out sufficiently, putting a significant dent in their in their leadership, because he is now completely shattered and running off the board. I'm causing fear, Khalid's causing fear, he's causing terror, so we have a lot of fear still on the board, so we're going to be able to deal a lot of damage here as far as leadership goes. Nice Livor Mortis kicks off. Oh no, Flaming Sword of Ruin, that's right. That's not going to bode well for us, but we do get a really good last-minute Skeleton Warrior summon in here from the Arkan, the Tomb Blade of Arkan, and that is going to be great because we just needed bodies on the field at this point. The Sphinx of Usek is in bad condition, getting finally brought down, but in the meantime, helping to kill so many large units. We've completely surrounded now and are just beating down the Famir Balefiend. Dude, Khalid's just using that asp staff and just attacking. Balefiend's got 471 health. It is broken. It doesn't want to be a part of this anymore. It is now shattered. So it is now a little bit of a value train here, right? How can we get the rest of this army to pretty much just capitulate from a... Oh! Shem's Burning Gaze. I always forget about this Lich Priest. And value train there. Shattered. Oh, just do it. You're wavering. You know you want to. Do it. Shattered. Still got some warriors just kind of holding it down there. Marauders are now shattered, and it is just us. Indy on Khalida, me on Arkan, and then the Skeleton Warriors against the Brutes of the Hound. So, I mean, you can see, guys, we really pulled this off at the last minute here. It was wild. Like, it was anyone's game, almost the entirety of the game. Even that one part at the end where it was pretty much just Khalida and Arkan smashing shit around with the Sphinx of Usek. So it's... You never know what's going to happen. You got to just kind of stay in it the whole entire time. Summon some Skeleton Warriors, I guess, just for extra punishment. And that last little Brute of the Hound just getting brought down by Arkan the Black here. Do it, Arkan. Kill him. we had, like, said, like, oh, Arkan will get the last shot, but it wasn't happening. Arkan was just pushing him around. So, as you can see, amazing fight with Dov and Black Iron battles. A lot of fun here. Indy probably brought a great army as well. Me, you know what? I'm the best. Doesn't matter. But you can see Khalida 98 kills right there. So strong. The Ushabti with Great Bow didn't do a lot of kills. 4 and 1, and then 7 and 7, but that wasn't their point. Their point was to bring down big, hard targets, like Wulfric and like the War Mammoth War Shrine, and we did. 28 kills between the both of them, and they have over, what, I think it's like 5,000 points between the two of them now. So that's pretty significant and very advantageous to us. Black Iron Battles got so many kills with his Shaman Sorcerer and his all of his Berserkers being able to pretty much buzz up the majority of our units. Those Norsca Ice Trolls were used to pretty good effect to kind of harass our backlines and put pressure on us there. Dov got some really good kills with his Balefiend as well. But you can really see how these two armies, which do suffer weaknesses from fire, and how they can really get knocked around by fire in the right positions. So it was a lot of fun to really kind of see Tomb Kings on the battlefield once again, especially against Norsca. Two very fun and thematic fights here or two very fun and thematic, not fights, but armies that clashed here on the battlefield today. But thanks so much for watching here today, guys. Don't forget to check out Indie Pride, Dov Plays, and Black Iron Battles channels. They all have content up from the early access here, as this is the last day of goodies that we can release for you guys until tomorrow, when you all can dive balls deep into this content as well. But thanks for watching, have a good one, and take care.